He's special, guys. He's special. Let's talk about it. It's the Hoops Nerd Show. All right, so I'm having a hard time containing my excitement. What we just saw, guys, was fantastic. Keyonte George is absolutely special. Normally, I would talk about the other team first, but who cares about the Clippers? I don't know who any of the players are. I don't care about anything else. Right now, I'm talking about Keyonte George. Let's pull this up. Let's make me smaller. Keyonte George is special. It's just official. I had gotten really excited about the things I saw in Salt Lake City Summer League, and I was wondering what kind of development we would see over time. The fact that he comes out and puts up 33 and 10 in his Las Vegas debut, I tweeted about it. I actually was wrong. Donovan Mitchell in his... Should we just get with the hot takes right away? Just right away. Donovan Mitchell in his first Summer League debut scored like 19 points and like 2 assists, 2 steals or something like that. It was his third Las Vegas Summer League, by the way, where he scored the famous 37 points and 8 assists. That was his third Summer League game. Plus, he had the advantage of also playing Salt Lake City Summer League. Keyonte George in his Summer League debut scores 33 points with 10 assists. And there's some things we've got to look at that make this even more special. I mean, I guess we can just give an honor. We'll talk about Ochai next, whatever. Keyonte George does everything you want on the offense. I don't know what to do with my hands. Everything you want on the offensive end. Everything. What is the weakness? What's the weakness? In the comments, if you know of the weakness, please put it in there. Robert Hall, welcome, my friend. Welcome. Hall of Fame, Robert Hall. Let's just look at the stat line. Let's just discuss it. Look at this. He takes 24 shots. He's 50% from the field. One thing that was pretty impressive, it was in the first half when the shot was not falling. That was what was interesting about this game. The shot was not falling. I learned really quickly how I'm going to have to adjust how I speak on social media, whether it's a tweet or a thread or whatever. I've got to adjust because I posted, I was like saying, you know, it looks like the 3-point shot's not falling tonight. Guess what? Keyonte George is one of those special types that you have to be careful about what you say. I am learning very quickly. Hold the phone, okay? Before you call in the take, make sure you've watched everything because he goes in the fourth quarter and explodes. He ends the night with 33 points, 10 assists. He actually shoots 40% from 3. I tweeted that and he was like 1 for 6. And I, like a moron, I say, oh, looks like the 3-point shot's not falling tonight. Nope, forget it. Keyonte George is one of those guys. He is one of those guys, you know, that guy where he can just explode at any point. And guess what? He's doing it in the fourth quarter. 6 for 15 from 3. He ends the game 40% from 3. Look at this. Tonight, in his Las Vegas Summer League debut, the 50-40-90 club already 50, 40, 100 to start things off in Las Vegas. I mean, we looked at Brandon, you know, and he was looking nice in Salt Lake City Summer League. We saw what Brandon Miller did. He's struggling. And Keyonte George is doing this. Okay, there's some things we've got to dissect. Multiple plays. Where do we start with what he's doing? And I don't want to hear defense. You know, if you want to talk about the defense and like where he needs to improve, sure, he needs to get better. But guess what? He's 6'4" and he's better than we thought. He's bigger than we thought. He's longer than we thought. I mentioned it on Twitter. You can follow me there, whatever. That his body kind of reminds me of Dennis Schroeder, where he's like tall and really long. He's probably a little taller than Schroeder, to be honest. Maybe not quite as long, but he's taller and he just moves. He has quickness like I didn't know he had. But anyways, let's just begin. He scores at the rim. This 3 for 3 could have been more, to be honest. The guy gets to the free throw line with ease. I'm actually really impressed. He gets to the free throw line pretty quickly, and that is not something that is easily taught. I mean, Ochai Agbaji gets 2 free throws. He's just not got the same level of ability that Keyonte George has. He just doesn't have that same talent level. It's kind of bonkers. I know he only shot 3, but last game, remember the thing we talked about last game, how excited we were, he had 10 free throws last game. You know, and the shot wasn't falling that last game at Salt Lake City Summer League. He still put up the assists, and he still gets to the line, so it's an efficiency night, whether the shot is falling or not. Well, guess what happens when the shot is efficient? 33 and 10. But this could have been even more. If he's going to the rim, he's either scoring or he's getting fouled. He knows how to use contact. And for a guy, he's not like super, you know, he's not like Donovan Mitchell where he's built kind of like a running back or a free safety where he's just like super built. He's a little lankier and a little skinnier, but he's just as quick. But what's really impressive is he knows how to use his body. He's not getting injured either. That's like one of those things about Ja Morant. And, you know, Ja Morant's like upper echelon athlete, just, you know, 1% athlete. But Ja Morant always, one thing about Ja Morant is you get scared a little bit when you watch him go up because he's had multiple injuries. It's just this reckless abandon. What I'm noticing with Keyonte George is he knows how to use his body to get the foul, and then he just goes to the line and shoots free throws, and no one's like gasping, like, is he going to get up? You know, it's pretty impressive. This basketball IQ, his innate ability on how to use his body at just getting to the rim and getting the line is one of the things I'm personally super impressed and super excited about, because that is just not something every player has. It's a hard thing to do. And for him at 19 years old to already be doing this and to kind of understand how to use his body to, one, create separation, get to the line and score, my goodness, that is going to be a tool in his, it's already a pretty expansive tool belt, but his ability to just get to the line is one of the first things I noticed tonight. And just what I've noticed in SLC Summer League is he just knows how to do it. Let's talk about this. The 12 for 24 from the field. I mean, the 2-point shot is there. It's there, whether it's at the rim. He's a 3-level scorer. This is, I mean, guys, it's time to get excited. We only saw it once in Salt Lake City Summer League where he had the snake dribble, but he can do it. I watched him do it. I saw it happen with my 2 eyes. I think all of you did as well. He is a 3-level scorer, but I'm losing my train of thought just with how many things are going through my brain. But 12 for 24 from the field, he can score at all 3 levels, and he's doing it efficiently because he gets to the line. And when you combine that with the fact that he had 10 assists, I mean, it's go get the rookie card. Go get the Keyonte George rookie card, all right? Go do it because he's got it all. He's got it all, every element. And what's crazy is he's 19 years old. He's going to get better. We haven't even seen Taylor Hendricks play. But anyways, 12 for 24 from the field. This could have been even better. He got, like, one of those was blocked. One of these was an alley-oop, so he can play off the ball as well. So he can get that spot up 3. Like one of these threes he took was Ochai Agbaji drives to the hoop, kicks it out to Keyonte, and he knocks it down. And this shot wasn't exactly falling. I mean, he's going to have a 40-point game his rookie year. He just is. Count it. Just wait for it. It's going to happen. I mean, he's got me speechless. He's got me speechless, guys. Robert Hall, 199. Thank you, my friend. Do you think the front office knew this was in him? I mean, what a steal. I mean, that's the other thing is people were talking about online like, oh, tanking. Why did we tank? Guess what? We didn't have to tank to get him. We could have tanked for someone even better. Don't go watch the never mind. Let's just not get in. I don't care. Tonight's Keyonte. But we got this with the Wolves pick. Shout out to the Minnesota Timberwolves for Walker Kessler and now Keyonte George. And shout out to Danny Ainge for making this pick at 16. Are you kidding me? That's what's crazy is I knew he would score because he showed that ability to score in college. And I kind of was like, will it be like Donovan Mitchell where it like took some time for him to figure out efficiency? My gosh, he has it already. He has it already. I mean, there's some development there that he's going to need to do, but my gosh, he is special offensively. Special. So he gets 10 assists, and this could have been more. There's there was like 3 or 4 passes where just 3-point shooters were open, just didn't knock it down. This is actually like, you know, there's one of those advanced stats. We're not going to look at it tonight, but you can actually see potential assists, and it's a fun one to look at on NBA.com stats. But potential assists, I can promise you it's like 14 or 15. But the fact that he's getting 10 means that he's setting up guys for other easy shots. Like that I think it was to Micah Porter, where it was just like a, you know, just a cut to the rim from Potter, and Keyonte just timed it perfectly. You could tell he was waiting for it. And there were times where I was watching him kind of guide the offense. He's got it, guys. I mean, this is special. This is special stuff. 3-level scorer, can drive, can run the pick and roll. We haven't even watched him run a ton of pick and roll. The Jazz are running a very like rudimentary offense. It's very simple stuff, like simple picks. They're running like this same play like so many times where you just kind of have one of the guys on either side of the 3-point line, and you're having just a guy set an off screen and cut to the basket. And we're seeing it multiple times. And he's already got that. That's just simple stuff. I cannot wait for him to run pick and rolls, be kind of doing things within the offense. They are going to start running plays for him. You know, we've seen a couple plays run for him already, and we are going to see him getting plays run for him where he can get easy baskets. I mean, that's the other thing, is he can play off the ball. So the biggest question for Utah is, first, how long could they justify not playing this guy as a starting point guard? My gosh. But then, you know, how do they add wrinkles to make things easy for him, to set things up? And the spacing he's going to provide, I mean, it's time to get excited, guys. My gosh. But you know what else? Let's just talk about some other things that are pretty exciting. Keyonte George, Tony Jones had a great tweet where, and I guess Keyonte on his phone, his screensaver is all the negatives about him coming into the draft. Like, he has it on his phone. Like, this is what he's deficient at. Well, one of those was the passing. And you know what the other thing that was? And we talked about this last time. 5-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. Guess who repeated it tonight? Look at this. 10-2. 10 assists, 2 turnovers. He has a 5-to-1 assist to turnover ratio again tonight. 10 assists, 2 turnovers. That's elite stuff. That is elite stuff. And this is in Summer League, where you got guys running 100 miles an hour all over the place, injuring each other, trying to make teams, trying to make crazy plays. You know, he had Terquavion Smith in that first game with the Sixers trying to talk him up and get in his face and talk smoke. And Keyonte just took it, and he's just turned himself. I mean, 10 assists, 2 turnovers. I'm having a hard time not making some outlandish claims, but we're kind of seeing a guy that has a little bit of the vision that Darren Williams had, with some of the athleticism, scoring ability of Donovan Mitchell. Are you kidding? That's outlandish. It's outlandish, right? But we're just being honest. That's what we do on the Twitter account. That's what we do on this Hoops Nerd channel. By the way, if you're a Jazz fan and you're not subscribed to the Hoops Nerd channel, what are you doing? What are you doing? Subscribe. Robert Hall, $5. My friend, thank you so much. That's the thing. I'm hyped to see Hardy coach our set of special players. My guess is the league isn't going to see it coming. Mike, you know what, Hall of Fame? You are right. Tonight, after this performance, are you kidding? I mean, that was the big kind of, honestly, with all these roster moves, and they just signed Paul Reed. By the way, the Sixers have until tomorrow at midnight, like Cinderella, to see if they want to sign Paul Reed. Basketball Paul. By the way, is there a better nickname than Basketball Paul? That is amazing. That is amazing. I want him on the Jazz just for the nickname. But Anthony Irwin, he's on Twitter. He's a Laker blogger, a friend of mine. He's at Summer League right now, and apparently he was near one of the Sixers guys when that Woj bomb dropped, and I quote, "Oh, bleep." Immediately got in his phone and stormed out of Summer League after Danny Ainge sent that contract. That's one of the best stories I've ever heard. Fantastic. Fantastic stuff from Danny Ainge. What a couple years from Danny Ainge, by the way. What a couple years. Makes the absolute trade of the century. I will be telling my grandchildren, I will be saying, here, little Hoops nerd grandchild of mine, let me tell you about the Rudy Gobert trade. The player that everyone hated on for years, and Danny Ainge came in and traded him for more picks than Damian Lillard will get. And we just turned one of those picks from the Rudy Gobert trade into Keyonte George. It's also turned into Walker Kessler. The Wolves are struggling, and the Jazz are honestly exponential rise right now. If could Keyonte George earn his way to starting point guard day one? I think there's more of a debate on whether you start Ochai Agbaji or Jordan Clarkson as shooting guard. But Will Hardy was there courtside. He had to notice. And I know Will Hardy wants players to earn their spots, and I appreciate that, because that's one thing we just have not seen. By the way, my friend who DM'd me the other day with that Quinn Snyder story, if that's true and you're watching right now, thank you. You made my day. You made my day with that story. That's one for maybe the memberships. I might share that separately. But anyways, Will Hardy allows these players to improve and get on the floor and earn their minutes. And we saw it last year. And guess what? It made for a better culture. We had guys playing their hearts out. And that's going to happen with Keyonte, because he does need to improve his defense. The effort does need to be there. I mean, it's 82 games. You don't want guys getting injured. You don't want guys like burning out and things like that. But you do have to have better defense. So one of the things he's going to obviously have to improve upon is just his defensive understanding. When, like we talked about it before, he's got to kind of learn what a lot of NBA players have to learn is when do you put your foot on the gas, and when do you learn how to, get into cruise control, and how can you manage that so that you're playing high level defense, but you're not wasting energy at times that you don't need to. That's something you just have to learn, because it's 82 games. It's an absolute grind. Game 61 out of 82, and you're on a flight on a Tuesday, and you're playing Orlando one night, and then you're going to Boston the next, and it's a back-to-back. That's just brutal. And so he'll have to learn that. When to put the foot on the gas, when to not, things like that. But honestly, defensively, we've seen Keyonte George make 3 end-of-quarter big-time plays. Like tonight, he had one play at the end of a quarter where he made a blocked shot on the three-point line, and we saw that twice in Summer League too. And I've seen him multiple times in the half court make nice plays. Like, he can do it. Is he an elite defender? No. And I don't know if he'll ever be an elite defender. Maybe. Never say never. But I think he can be an average to even maybe pretty good defender, He's averaging steals. I mean, what was his steal count tonight? He had a steal tonight. He had 3 in one of his SLC Summer League games. If he averages like 1.5 steals per game, that's exciting. But anyways, the 10 assists to 2 turnovers is fantastic. He had a steal, a block. He's stuffing the stat sheet. It's only 2 rebounds, but that's okay. Offensively, just fantastic. I just can't say enough. And he just did a little of everything. He had the oop from Colby Ross. He had, the driving to the hoop, getting to the line, scoring at the free throw line. And then, of course, the 3-point shot that just got electric at the end of the game. I just can't get over the 10 assists. That's the thing. Assists are hard. And any of you out there who are using Prize Picks and you bet on guys to get the over on assists and things like that, it's hard to do. It's not easy. 10 assists is not easy to do. And when you're getting into double-digit assists, it means you're setting up guys for easy baskets. Because we've seen guys on the Jazz, with old offenses with Quinn Snyder, where it was lots of 3-point based things and very systematic. You would get big assists if the team was just knocking down every 3 they took. It's hard to get 10 assists with just 3s. But when you have a player that's setting guys up with cuts to the basket, things like that, in the pick and roll, setting guys up. I mean, he set up Micah Potter with a few passes in the pick and roll that were fantastic. And they were over the head passes. I'm over the moon. I'm over the moon. The other thing I was a little worried about with him was the size. Because, you see these guys in college and they're playing against other guys that are like not as big as guys in the NBA are. The average height of a college player is going to be lower than the average height of an NBA player. And so it's just, sometimes it's hard to gauge, like, how big is this guy actually? And when they say he's 6'4", you start asking yourself, well, well, is that 6'4" with shoes? You know, is he actually kind of smaller? Because I'm telling you what, when you see Donovan Mitchell up close, if you ever get a chance to get like, you know, close to the court and see Donovan Mitchell, he's small. He's not that tall. Keyonte looks pretty big to me, and let me know in the comments. We've had some people mention in the comments that he looks pretty big. Like, the size is actually pretty good. It's like one of those things where certain players are bigger than you realize. Steph Curry's 6'4", and he's legit 6'4", and he's pretty big, And if Keyonte George is that same way, where he's like 6'4", where you're like Steph-sized or bigger, that's big enough. He's not fun-sized, he's Steph-sized. And if you're big enough and you can make the over-the-head passes, the pick-and-roll pocket passes and things like that, that's all you've got to do. But guys that are like 6 foot and lower, it's just really hard. But if you have the height and the vision to make every pass on the floor, and it appears that he does, and if you have the length to make that over-the-head pass so defenders aren't deflecting it, and, then that's where it's exciting. And I think this 10 assists right here really shows it, that I think he has it. And I think, honestly, that is part of why Donovan Mitchell never, at least with the Jazz, was like a, averaging 10 assists per game guy, or even upper like 7, 8, whatever. Is just, he's not as big. It's hard to make that above the head pass. It's hard to see all the different plays. And so that's why the default might be go to the scoring. But if Keyonte has the height and he can make those plays, and some guys are just special, John Stockton, Chris Paul, these guys that are 6 foot, 6'1", maybe a little bigger. Some guys are just special that way. They're just like, aliens, and they can see it even if they're not that big. And, Stockton and Paul and guys like that are special that way. But, not everyone's like that. Not everyone has that level of special vision. But Keyonte George has the size, and maybe he does. Who knows? Maybe he has that type of vision. It's going to be fun to see. But 33 points, he can also just light it up from three. You could tell he was having fun too. Just watching him score, you could just see it was just like a blast. And he's out. That's the other thing too that I think is just impressive. I know he had like that first half of that first Salt Lake City Summer League game, you could see that he had kind of those jitters, and it was like, his first NBA action. It took a little bit for him to calm down, and my goodness, ever since that second half of that first SLC Summer League game, he looks so poised, he looks confident, he doesn't look afraid, he looks, he's not rushed at all. Everything seems to be coming to him. That's what was impressive about this game too, is he looked like he was deferring a lot. Most of the game he was deferring. He was trying to help other guys set up. That's where the 10 assists come. But he absolutely has a little bit of that takeover gene, where when things in the playoffs get crazy, can you get a guy that can just knock down a big time three? Very Dame-like, like, can you get that three? Can you knock down a bucket? Can you make a big play? And he's got like big time play potential. It's exciting. And I know it's one game, but you know what? You combine that with the second half of the first of SLC Summer League, and then game 2 and 3, and the things he was showing there, and it's already starting to kind of come together a little bit. I just want to see him with the ball in his hands. It's electric. How fun was that, guys? How fun was that? Unbelievable. Well, we've covered the scoring, we've covered the passing, the poise, the confidence. He has it. He's just got that thing, that special something. Whatever that is, he's got it. But he's got like, if it's like here's the shaker of that special something. He's got like extra. All right, let's talk a little bit. Just, we got to give credit also to Ochai Agbaji, who is looking like, one of the things it was the Keyonte George show tonight, and should be, because he's phenomenal. We need to be excited. You need to tell your friends about Keyonte George. You need to go just buy a rookie card right now, because those things are going to absolutely skyrocket. But anyways, Ochai Agbaji, I think what he's kind of proven, and there's nothing wrong with it, but he is a high-level off-the-ball player. And there's nothing wrong with that. That is fantastic. He goes 3 for 10 from 3, but you know what? This percentage is going to go up during the regular season because, and I think this has been covered by literally everyone who covers the Jazz, he's doing more than he will during the regular season. He is being asked to take pull-up threes, and so it's really good. The fact he's shooting 30% and he's playing kind of like a primary option is nice to see. in the regular season. And by the way, like last year, and maybe we'll just pull it up for fun while I talk, but last year, um, is it worth pulling it up? Why not? Last year we just saw his corner three percentage. Just no, let's not worry about it. Last year his corner three percentage was just elite. It was like 60 something percent. And so just fantastic stuff from Ochai. He's going to be an elite 40% three-point shooter for the Jazz. He is going to make big time plays. What I really have liked seeing, because these rebound numbers weren't quite there last year, actually. And that, it's hard to get a lot of rebounds when you have Walker Kessler grabbing like 16. So I don't know if he's going to be grabbing 9 defensive rebounds during the regular season because Walker Kessler exists. But it's nice to see this go up because there were a lot of games last year with Ochai where the rebounding wasn't there. A lot of people are talking about the shooting and the playmaking and all sorts of that. But this is the thing that gets me excited is the rebounding. He's showing that athleticism more and more. He makes like that athleticism with him is functional. I was talking to some of you may know Michael. He used to be the manager for SLC Dunk before I took over, before my coup worked out, and I was able to remove him quite violently, I would say. But anyways, one thing we talked about is that a lot of the difference between guys in the G League and this was Michael making this point. It's a good point. Is the difference between like the guys in the G League and the NBA sometimes is not that much. You go watch the Stars, by the way. Lots of fun. You go watch someone like Micah Potter, who's really good. Like, look at what Micah Potter did tonight. He quietly had an incredible night. Look at that. 18 points, 53%, 40% from 3, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. I mean, that's a night. Micah Potter was awesome. So just like an example like that, like one of the differences though, and one of the things that really sets guys apart, and it's why guys like Bilal Coulibaly and, the Thompson twins is the athleticism, because the athleticism is the thing that sets you apart, and guys in the G League are ballers. They're great. And a lot of them can go into the NBA and contribute. But what separates them and, what separates guys like Ochai Agbaji, and it's why we see reports from guys like Tony Jones and other local reporters, why he's kind of like an untouchable, is because of that athleticism, because he can do this. He can do that in a regular season game. So this is what I was kind of excited about watching with him, is just the rebounding. And we saw it in SLC too with the offensive rebounding. That was one of the reasons why the Jazz offense was so good last year, by the way, and that was what Harlabob was talking about, who, by the way, is great to listen to. You get a chance to listen to Harlabob, it's great. But one of the reasons why Utah was so good offensively and was like top 5 offense for most of the year, in fact, I think they ended top 5, or at least close, is that they obviously had great shooting, great offensive efficiency, but they also were one of the best teams in the NBA. I think they were top 10 in offensive rebounding. So they crash the boards too. So even when they're missing, you add on the efficiency with the shooting with Lauri Markkanen, and Ochai was shooting it well last year. You had multiple really good shooters. On top of that, you have Walker Kessler and other guys just absolutely dominating on the offensive boards. I mean, that is hard to defend. If you have to guard 4 guys, and by the way, that's why the Jazz are going to be really good this year. I would be surprised if they don't have, I mean, especially seeing this with Keyonte George. Are you kidding me? If he acclimates and how quickly he does, it's hard for me to not see the Jazz win 50+ games next year. Because that's what makes the Jazz so difficult to defend, is the shooting. I mean, honestly, are you kidding? Are you kidding me? Are you for real? Are you that Jazz team is not real? By the way, that's an all-time meme and moment. That's incredible. That guy is not real. But anyways, you have to stop shooting like the Jazz are going to be doing, where it's like 40% John Collins, Lauri Markkanen, 40% three-point shooting. Keyonte George, can he shoot 36% plus? You've got Ochai Agbaji. He's like a 60% corner three-point shooter. Like, he's going to shoot 40% from 3. Unbelievable shooting that this Jazz team is going to have. And then you have playmakers. You have Lauri Markkanen, who can go out and get you 50, 40, 90. Unbelievable offense. And then And then you add on the fact, you add John Collins for rebounding. He's going to play the power forward. You're going to have Lauri Markkanen. Kelly Olynyk shot 40% from three last year or around there. He's going to be the backup center or backup power forward, whatever. Taylor Hendricks. Can Taylor Hendricks shoot the ball at 36 to 40% from three? Bonkers. But then you add on the fact that Lauri at every point of the game, you're going to have Lauri Markkanen, John Collins, Walker Kessler, Taylor Hendricks, Kelly Olynyk, Paul Reed, possibly, Basketball Paul. You are going to have like all of these guys in the mix, offensive rebounding. By the way, Basketball Paul shot 44% from three in the G League. So he can spread the ball too, and he's your backup center. This Jazz team is going to be so versatile, so hard to guard. You have a top 5 coach in Will Hardy. He might be top 3. I'm not ranking him right now, kind of using these different things. But one thing you can bet is they are going to score the ball. They are going to make it hard to defensive rebound. They are going to just absolutely be an absolute beast to defend. And guess what? The defense might be better. Like that was the big downfall for the Jazz last year, and it was why they got the number 9 pick to get Taylor Hendricks. If Taylor Hendricks is good, by the way, what if Taylor Hendricks is awesome too? What if Taylor Hendricks can play like the 3, 4, and 5? That's what's such a bummer about Hendricks. And by the way, I don't think he's going to play in Las Vegas. I was listening to Hoop Collective. All I do is basketball. But anyways, Tim McMahon was saying that Taylor Hendricks is looking like he's on the wrong side of questionable with that injury. So that sucks. That sucks that we don't get to see Taylor Hendricks play. Maybe it'll get better. I don't know. It would be nice to watch, but I doubt the Jazz want to have him go out there and either one, get injured worse because they forced him out there, or 2, have him have a bad game and hurt his confidence. I would rather him be healthy and not let him get injured. But I think Taylor, Robert Hall, Locke is full of garbage. Sorry, I said it. Yeah. Maybe he goes to the G League, but I just think he's too good. I honestly think, same way with Keyonte George. Like, how do you keep Taylor Hendricks off the floor? If the Jazz picked him at 9 and they have him ranked above Keyonte George, and they saw this with Keyonte. I mean, Taylor Hendricks, a lot of people have him as like one of the best defenders in the draft. And that doesn't include his ability to shoot the 3. I mean, at worst, he's like a better defensive John Collins. But if he can do a little bit with the ball, and he showed a little ability to kind of score in the post and things like that, like, what if he's really nice? What if he's nice with it? Then, I just have a hard time. Even with this backcourt, I know Kelly Olynyk, he's going to be competing with Kelly Olynyk for minutes, to be honest. But, the Jazz are probably more interested in Taylor Hendricks playing than Kelly Olynyk because he's expiring. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised. It's going to be just fun to watch. If Taylor Hendricks is really good, then, the Jazz might go out and get another first-round pick. Why not? Just get more first-round picks. They're just like, the Jazz are just juggling picks. By the way, the Jazz don't have any picks in next year's draft. That's what's so funny is in 2024, they have 0, literally 0. No second-round picks, no first-round picks. I wonder if they make a trade for 1 in next year's draft. Who knows? Or maybe they just want to develop their guys. It's going to be just a fascinating year. But anyways, long story short, 9 rebounds for Ochai Agbaji, and the 5 assists is actually really nice to see because he moves the ball within the offense. Ochai during the regular season doesn't necessarily need to do this, but I do want him to see him do this with the rebounding. I think everyone on this Jazz team is going to have like 2 or 3 assists because there's just so many options, and the offense is so fluid and allows players to just play within their games, and they just are doing, every action is so simple, but it is setting up each individual player for success. That's what's exciting. So there will be games where Ochai will get like 5 assists just by playing within the offense and making the right play and having players that shoot and score efficiently. But he's not going to do that every night. But if he's at like 2 point, if let's say if Ochai Agbaji starts, and that's going to be another question, does Ochai Agbaji start next year? I don't know. You've got Jordan Clarkson and Colin Sexton. I think Colin Sexton's going to get traded. There's that like weird underground rumor with Colin Sexton and Milwaukee. Maybe I just think, by the way, speaking of that, after tonight, is it pretty much like Danny Ainge is making a call to Milwaukee and saying, yeah, let's make that happen? Right? Like someone mentioned Colin Sexton to me on the thing, and I was like, Colin who? Colin who? I'm more interested in Keyonte George. And like last year, to end the year, we had THT starting, by the way. I don't think it's really that out of this realm to think that Keyonte George earns his way to the starting guard pretty quickly. Because I think Jordan Clarkson's more of a shooting guard. And Jordan Clarkson actually showed an ability to pass that ball really well last year too. But my goodness, if you've got a guy like this moving the ball. And then you've got Ochai Agbaji who can defend. By the way, can we just do it for fun? Let's just do it for fun. I think we'll do it next time. Let's do it next time and look at defensive ratings, offensive ratings. We'll get into the nerdy stuff, I guess, another time. But I just wanted to talk about Keyonte. Ochai Agbaji's looking great. A shout out to Micah Potter, who's playing well. Joey Hauser, he's got that two-way contract. It'll be interesting to see. I'm sure he'll play a lot of minutes for the Stars. Not much else. This is fun. I really hope they don't shut him down. I want to watch all the Keyonte George all the time. That's what I want. Because it's fantastic. It's fun. Guys, that's all I got. He's incredible. He's fantastic. He's phenomenal. He's got it all. I just hope they keep playing him because I want to keep watching him. And it looks like he just loves to play basketball. That's the other thing is he was having fun. The guy is going to be special. And so let's watch him. Can we watch him? I mean, who's the next opponent? I don't even know. It's going to be fun to watch him go up against like Anthony Black and Cason Wallace. We didn't get to see him face Cason Wallace, you know? So it'd be nice to watch that. We want to watch him play against Scoot, although I think Scoot might be out for at least 1 or 2 games. And it sucks that Amin Thompson got hurt too. That stunk. But at least Amin Thompson's okay. But anyways, guys, are you a Jazz fan? Are you new here? Like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the button right there. And if you want to support the channel, join it. Let's give a shout out to our All-Stars tonight. What a lot of fun. Thank you guys for supporting the channel, by the way. It means a lot to me. So thank you very much. Let's give a shout out to Christian House Money to Haas, Ezekiel Raicibe, the man from down under. See ya, Lexa later. Built for Tough, Alexander Tufts, Jorge Arrizaga, mi amigo de Abajo, Jordan the Goat, Best Rule, TGD, Total Game Domination, Tyson Price, The Price is Right, X marks the spot for Zintas, Austin R. Grant, Editor Extraordinaire, DW to CB, Darren Williams to Carlos Boozer, Patrick Akubo, The Connoisseur, and Robert Hall of Fame. Thank you again, Robert, for the donations. And Robert Lambert, we didn't even mention it. Robert Lambert, welcome to Rookie. I think we've seen you before. And I'm appreciative of you being a part of the channel, Robert. Come, you know, right? Always in the Hoops Nerd fold. Once here, stay here. I love you guys. Thank you for all your support. I will talk to you next Summer League game. Woo!